What's up, guys? This is Omar from Foloosi. And first of all, I just want to say, before I just get into anything, I just want to say thank you to the DIFC for allowing us to be in this space pod. They've provided this place and they've enabled us to do our first podcast session. And this is Ayush from... Ayush, you want to introduce yourself instead of me saying where you're from?
Yeah, totally. Thanks, Omar. Thanks for the opportunity to be here at the Space Pod with you. It's an absolute pleasure sharing my thoughts with you and getting your thoughts as well. I'm Ayush Bhatia. I am a VC and startups enthusiast. I've been in Dubai for about 4 years now.
Awesome.
I've studied here and have worked with multiple startups in the UAE and in India.
And I believe one of them is from the DIFC or is located in the DIFC, right?
Yes, I was working with Baraka as a growth analyst for about 7 months. They've just launched. They've got an app coming out and they are bringing commission-free investing to the GCC in 5,000 plus stocks and ETFs.
Okay.
Previous to Baraka, I used to work in private equity. I helped launch Urban Company, or previously Urban Clap, which is an Indian startup valued at $2 billion into the UAE markets. I was their third employee in the Dubai office, and they've now expanded to Abu Dhabi as well.
Awesome. So there's a lot of variety of experiences that you have. So let's start with is Baraka like Robinhood app in the US?
In the UAE, yeah. Well, they're bringing commission-free investing. They're the first to do this in the region.
All right. What's that? What's commission-free investing?
And you can invest in stocks and ETFs without any fees, any commission or the middleman, right?
All right.
Zero fees. Simple.
Zero fees.
Yeah.
Just invest.
Just invest.
Awesome. Cool. And you told me just as we were coming through, you said to me that you were a scout for a VC before?
Yeah, so I have been scouting for several VCs in India, and they have a tremendous startup ecosystem.
Cool. How is it scouting for VCs? I mean, like, is it like sports scouting? Like, do you find the right players, or do you find, do you find the right founders? What's scouting in VC terms? What's scouting?
Well, scouting essentially is very less of nurturing and bridging gaps between, say, information, and more about building relationships. Especially in a region as diverse as India, you've got tens of cities.
You basically want to find the right founder. Is it when they say we invest in you, not in the product?
I'd say it's a mix of both, to be honest. There's a lot of ideas floating around. There's very little of them that make it to the product stage. Very few of them understand product market fit. Very few of them choose the right space to build their product in. Very few of them are informed about where they want to see their product in the next 6-12 months. I think that makes a tremendous difference in a region that's as dynamic, as fast growing as India. You've got 4,500 startups that get funded, from the C to Series B level on a H1, H2 basis, on a 6-monthly basis. We've got 19 IPOs in India just this year, and we haven't even finished with, say, 9 months.
Awesome.
So yeah, from that perspective, I think there's tremendous potential from the seed to Series A stage. There's a lot of people who are looking to.
What are the stages of? Let's say I'm a newbie, fresh into entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
I've got this product. I've got this idea. I've designed this product. What are the stages of funding? I mean, funding is really important for my product, right? For my project. And I need money to launch. I need money for marketing. I need money for employees, So unless I'm going to I have a plan to bootstrap for years, what is bootstrapping? You can get into that.
Sure. So
also, what are the stages of the funding? Series A, Series B, Series C.
Let's approach this on a principle by principle basis. Bootstrapping essentially is where you build out your product or your business and take it to market, essentially without any external funding, without diluting any of your equity. So you own 100% of the business.
Okay.
Funding, of course, is taking money from any external investor, but the caveat is that you have to also give them a certain percentage of your business as equity, because then they participate in the growth of your business. The idea underlying this form of ownership distribution is that you're essentially giving them a part of the growth of the potential business in exchange for their capital, which would just accelerate that business massively. To your point about funding rounds, it starts with seed. Seed, very basically. Yeah, seeds essentially.
Seed, or you can also start with pre-seed, right?
So there's a couple of ways people have tweaked the terminology, right? And
they're all just rounds, but there's
the naming conventions aren't set in stone, right? There's you can call it pre-seed if you'd like. You're essentially just demonstrating to people that
pre-seed.
You've got a ton of growth ahead of you.
What's the first round? What's a pre-seed or a seed? What's that?
Like I said, it's not set in stone. You could be raising $100 and be calling it pre-seed.
Okay.
Or you could be raising $100,000 and calling it pre-seed.
Yeah.
You could call it anything. The idea behind calling it a seed round is that you're raising money that's allowing your company to germinate, get off the ground. In
got it.
herbology
So
terms.
there's a seed round, then Series A.
Yeah. So there's seed, there's pre-series A, like you said. There's advisors that call it all sorts of names nowadays, and that's just VC jargon. But what you're doing
what are the names?
You call it mango seed, call it avocado seed. There's no set terminology, to be honest. It's
what's your advice for a scout a startup founder? What's your advice for a startup founder who's looking for investment and they face a lot of challenges, as you know, right? So as you're scouting for startup founders, what do you scout for? What do you look for?
So you've got to understand what VCs look for essentially, and what their exit options would be looking for. So if there's an early stage VC that's using a spray and pray model and investing in 500 startups, having a $5 million corpus and you're investing in say 100 startups. And the idea is to have enough diversification within those 100 investments that even if say 99 fail, there's one that really is the shining light and gets 100x return. That you balance it out. There's no I wouldn't really be qualified to give out an advice, but what I've learned in my tenure as working alongside VCs is that they look for pockets of high growth potential, where say CACs aren't that low or aren't that high. You're looking at markets that have traditionally been neglected, that have a extremely large addressable market size to begin with, so that even if you capture a tiny sliver of the market, you are creating some value. A lot of the investing now has turned to social and impact investing. It's not really just about raw numbers now. It's all about what kind of an impact you're making as well. For example, in India, I can tell for a fact that there's a lot of focus on the kind of employment you'll be generating with your startup as well, because that's very aligned with say government incentives as well.
Okay.
And so you can expect stakeholders to be piling onto your startup in a much faster fashion if you've got those priorities in place. I think it's similar in the UAE as well, don't you think?
Yeah. I think this is the startups or entrepreneurs. They kind of enable the whole economy, the whole system with employment, with cash flow. So you get employees, you get guys who just come out of university. Now
you're creating value, right? And with Foloosi, for example, right? You're creating value that with tapping into the payments or the e-commerce segments within the market, you're essentially allowing outside capital to flow into the economy. Let's just say you raise a round tomorrow from a private equity.
Let's skip the queue and scan Foloosi QR code.
Correct. But as you give jobs to graduates, to even interns, whatever, they can spend tomorrow. They can just go to Dubai Mall and stuff, and spend, So at the end of the day, you, even as a startup, the whole of the entrepreneurial, the whole entrepreneurial ecosystem is all about enabling the economy in terms of spending, in terms of, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, as we're talking about the cash and money. What are your thoughts on the new money, crypto?
I think it's still a very exciting space to be in, despite all the highs and lows that the market has seen in the past year. I mean, we've seen Bitcoin go to 60,000 plus and crash down to around 30,000 and still recover.
Okay.
That's brought in a lot of people into new money and burnt a lot of fingers as well. Let's be honest.
So we have some startups in the DIFC that enable they are basically crypto exchanges, right? So and I believe that Baraka is trying to add those products into their portfolio, correct?
I think that's up to the leadership team, but in the future, of course, they'll be looking at it.
The enablement of blockchain technology, the cryptocurrencies and everything is all over the place. The DMCC now they're licensing some products on that too. What do you see? Where do you see the future in terms of that? Do you see there's the ability of people looking into the future with digital currencies and stuff?
So people, of course, are interested because it is growing in size and in popular culture as well. You've got Elon Musk, you've got the founder of Barstool Sports that's literally pumping and dumping a lot of coins, right? And that's bringing a lot of crypto coins to the limelight, right? You've got a bunch of altcoins as well that have now taken spotlight, and that's going to get a lot of people very interested in it because it's a similar play like options, right? You put in $1, there's the promise of generating $1,000 or $10,000 even from what you put in, and that kind of a payoff is not inherent in, say, safe instruments like stocks. So of course it's risky, but we're seeing an increased adoption of it because of the mention in, say, popular culture. And if you look at startups that are bringing that kind of instrument to regular people like you and me, they're essentially enablers of this entire transformation journey. The more number of startups you see that are essentially burning VC money to get people hooked onto these new instruments and this new money, as you just rightly said, the more interest you'd see in the region.
I see a question here where I can ask you. You're a salaried person, right? So you're an employee, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been through multiple organizations, stuff. Do you invest from your salary, a portion of your salary?
Yeah, about, say, 25% into long-term stocks and options. But that's a portfolio that I've essentially set up for my retirement. So I won't be looking at it before I turn 50.
So you invest 25% of your salary. This is your regular...
Yeah, it's a regular allocation. That's it's going into the family fund. So within my culture or where I come from, we've got joint families and we've got family funds. So everyone in the family will be doing this. Setting aside a part of your income for a rainy day. And now that earlier in the day there wasn't a lot of financial literacy, right? So you would save the money.
Do they teach you this in school or is it from a family?
So of course they don't teach it in school even now, right? Financial literacy is supposed to be a very
so they don't tell
strong
you invest
part.
25%.
So there is no guidance on what investing is. So that's a personal.
How did you get to this personal?
There's a personal, decision that's sort of linked to it. It's not something that you just arrive on a.
How did you get to it?
So I think it's all about
family, family influence.
No, I think it's all about when you want to retire. It's all about personal goals as well. So if you want to retire by, say, 35, then you put up 20-25%. If you want to retire by 50, you put up 10% of it.
So you want to retire by 35, you said?
I mean, I want to have enough cash flow so that I can do whatever I want to do by 35. You getting me?
Cool, man. That's good.
On a personal level, I don't have to go to any VC to think about seed funding my startup, for example.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's the thought process. To your point about financial literacy, it's still not in curriculums, which I feel is a very strong point to highlight to anyone listening. It should be there, right? That's one of the basis of all kinds of it's one of the basis of all kinds of decisions you make in life. At least in a city like Dubai that's as capitalistic and as Western oriented as in terms of money terms, you need to teach this to at least teens on a pre-teen level. There's a lot of startups in the region that are dealing with that kind of a problem as well, where they're putting out debit cards and credit cards to children as well. And by that I mean people, from 13 to 17 years of age. And that's to get them to understand financial literacy and personal finance at the grassroots level. Usually it's when you turn 18 and when you start earning through internships or otherwise that you start learning about these concepts. But that's also an age when you have so many vices around you. There's a bunch of things to spend on. You're gonna get a new car. They're not understanding the opportunity cost of debt, right? The moment you turn 18, you get your license, you get a $100,000 car. You're essentially investing in depreciation instead of compounding your money by investing in stocks or in instruments that's going to really increase in value. You're not even thinking about inflation, but when you're 40...
Do you invest in any Dubai Nasdaq stocks?
No, not yet. I think it's too volatile. I don't want to sort of bring out the real thought process out here, which is corporate governance. There's a bunch of issues there. There's a bunch of issues in... it's just that the ecosystem is yet to be developed, of course. So there's not a lot of IPOs coming out as well.
Is there any app that I can invest with, say, 10 dirhams, 50 dirhams, 100 dirhams? Like Robinhood, you can invest with $5, right?
Yeah, in Baraka, you can invest with $1.
With $1?
Yeah.
5 dirhams, 3 dirhams,
3.67.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a bunch of financial innovations happening that's going to bring people to the forefront in a much accelerated way than before.
Awesome.
Right? It's all about who's capturing that value and sort of giving the user the best experience, and so that's essentially capturing the user's imaginations in any way possible.
Cool, man. There's something that you've told me pre-coming here, and you said something. You came first in your school, in your something.
So I graduated Manipal with 100% scholarship.
In India, right?
Yeah, but they have a branch campus in Dubai, so I studied in Dubai for 3 years.
Wow.
I am a qualified financial risk manager, FRM degree. It's a qualification that you can pursue while you're in college or after that. It's mostly a professional thing that people do when they're working in banks, in risk management functions, particularly within the liquidity and within the treasury end. So I cleared that when I was 19 years old, and I'm the youngest to clear that worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cool, man. So are we looking at the next Google CEO or
I wouldn't get too ahead of that.
No?
No.
Or the next Foloosi CEO?
I'm not a techie.
Oh, you're not a techie, huh?
You're
just a businessman.
I understand. I understand the interplay between finance, product, and tech, of course. Right. That's the basis of all tech. What excites me the most, and in fact, if you look at Robinhood as well, their co-founder is a design guy. Right. He's a guy who's majored in design and has understood psychology. If you look at Mark Zuckerberg, the guy's minor was psychology. So it's really about understanding why people come to your product, what makes them stick, how you can build features to make them stick. I mean, you spend half an hour or an hour tops. I'm not sure what the rates here in the region are, but people spend up to 2 to 3 hours, browsing Instagram. I personally know for a fact that I have a record of opening up WhatsApp, 200 times a day. Right? It's because I either receive messages or I'm anxious about what I've left out or who I've not reached out to, right? Sometimes if you want to get a project going and you want to contact 5 people, the first thing you see is your WhatsApp contact list, right? You don't even go to your contacts tab on the phone. You check it out on WhatsApp. And so it's that psychological
in Foloosi, we can't run our business, our customer support and even team communication all over through WhatsApp.
There's a startup that I know of, almost, I think, seed stage. They've raised about $500,000 from leading VCs at Y Combinator as well. And, they grew their audience from 0 to 30,000 all through WhatsApp.
Wow.
It's crazy. No Google ads. They had 0 marketing expenditure on IG,
just
FB.
WhatsApp, forward.
No, not forward. So the guy is very active on Twitter and LinkedIn, right? And he developed a following. He started producing content, and to keep the community within the ecosystem, to give them updates, he just started WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, I mean, in WhatsApp these days, you can put your whole information, opening, closing hours. I mean, you can. I think there's a card option there also.
So WhatsApp's getting into payments now. Of course.
No, in India, WhatsApp is a payments instrument.
Yeah. Here in the region, they haven't, of course, activated that.
No.
But yeah, it's gonna be coming here today or tomorrow, right? And so you've got to understand what sort of community features to build on your app so that they prefer your app over, say, more traditional and more secure and perceived to be more secure means. I mean, you've still got the same 256-bit SSL encryption, right? But what makes WhatsApp stick is something that I think every founder, every product design person needs to think of. What can we do to incorporate such features into our apps?
I mean, it was a great pleasure seeing it today.
Likewise.
And I feel that just talking, it gives a lot of information to myself. I've learned a lot today from you.
Likewise. I mean,
it's really good.
It's good to pick your brain.
Whoever is listening to us is probably definitely learned something here or there. And maybe if they can, whoever is listening to us, they can share their ideas. You can share your ideas with us. You can share your thoughts, comments. If you have anything to say to Ayush, to myself, share it wherever this is posted on. And again, I really want to thank the DIFC for this space pod. The Fintech Hive is really an amazing place. If you have a startup in Fintech, this is the place to come in. Good for networking, good for everything. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thanks to everyone, to everything. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, Omar. Thanks.
Cool, man.